Go. My name is Marcela Brugnach, and today I will talk about the re-democratization of knowledge in participatory processes, the dangers of overlooking ambiguities. And this is a session, this is one talk of three of the session addressing ambiguities in participatory processes for sustainability resource management to support integrated assessment. This session has been co-organized between TIAS, the Integrated Assessment Society, and BC3, the Basque Center for Climate Change, and is part of the Digital Journey to PNS 2021 Symposium in Florence. I will start first just briefly stating what integrated assessment is and how we understand it in TIAS. And we can think of it as a meta-discipline, as some that is at the interface between science, practice, and policy, and integrates knowledge about problem domains and make it available for societal learning and decision-making. As such, integrated assessments are used to frame, study, and solve complex socio-ecological issues at all scales. It has gained a lot of momentum, particularly lately in the context of environmental problems, environmental crisis, climate crises. And a good example of that would be a GEO process at UNEP. In TIAS, how we look at integrated assessment in a broad and extensive way is as the interdisciplinary process of integration of knowledge from various disciplines and stakeholder groups in order to evaluate a problem situations from different perspectives and provide support for its solutions. And central to an integrated assessment is the engagement of stakeholders and scientists, and the co-production of knowledge as a democratic way to create knowledge that is inclusive and representative of all. But when you have many people and many different disciplines and many different interests, there are also many ways of knowing and some framing a particular issue and situation, and also many relationships happening among these actors. And from this, what's the encounter of all these multiple frames that are sometimes incompatible or not necessary in complete agreement, we have ambiguity. Ambiguity, it's a different type of uncertainties, and it indicates the degree of confusion that exists among too many different interpretations. What could be a problem of insufficient water supply in water-scarce regions? What could be a problem of insufficient water supply for a farmer? For an environmentalist, could be a problem of excessive water consumption, or for a river basin authority, could be a problem of illegal water abstractions and not having control of how much water there is. And under the presence of ambiguity, it may not be clear what the problem is, how it should be solved, or whether or not there is any problem at all. And these things are very important because how we define the problems, how we identify what is important, how we decided to look at that, is how we find out what is relevant knowledge. What do we need to do? Which are our preferred solutions? But the problem when we work in multi-party settings is that there are always a disparity of power between actors. For example, between, in water, between water authorities and farmer. There are a lot of issues of identities playing a role. Access to control over resource and informations. There are very different know-hows or expertise There are also a lot of disagreement, misalignment, and tensions that exist among people that need to be addressed. So when we have ambiguities is not, it's something good, it's something that we want in a process. Ambiguities are desirable because it's complex realities cannot be reduced to one coherent frame, to one coherent way of looking at things. It provides opportunities for innovations and creative solutions, allow different parties to engage in joint initiatives, each connected somehow with different but meaningful ways. So it allows a lot to join problem understandings and problem settings. But also, ambiguity could be very problematic, and it can be the source of many conflicts in a group. It can interfere in finding a joint basis for communication, misunderstanding, confusion, deceiving other parties, sources of tensions, conflicts, and it's something that should be avoided, particularly during implementation phases. So when we have these processes, multi-party processes, and we know that ambiguities will be unavoidable, we need to pay a lot of attention and to who is included or excluded in this process, under which role or conditions these different actors participate, how much influence or authority these actors granted to their participation. How do actors interact with each other? What do they talk about? How they position themselves with respect to others? How do they communicate? What expectations, assumptions do they have about others? Which are the barriers of communications, mistrust, misperceptions, stereotyping among these actors? And how do actors view the systems at larger scales? These are all questions that are essential to get to co-production processes that are effective and inclusive. However, not necessarily these are things that are applied and apply in real life and are very difficult to operationalize too. So in these sessions, next, Caroline will talk about the problems of ambiguities as she has encountered them in various European projects working in the context of water, energy, food nexus. And then Violeta Cabello will talk about, in the context of the MAGIC project, we'll talk about ambiguities, linking the concept of narrative analysis and storytelling. So thanks a lot.